our agenda today, it's a very simple one. We're going to start with some speaker introductions. We'll do a quick poll to get a pulse of how our audience feels about ANRs. And then we're going to dive right into a product demo and spend the majority of our time showing you what Embrace does for mobile games. And with that, I would like to introduce you to two of my colleagues, our games experts, PJ Rimstad, account executive, and Walter Rodriguez, senior systems engineer here at Embrace. PJ, I'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. I think it makes sense to start, we'll get to the poll in just a second, but just with a quick definition of what an ANR is. ANR stands for application not responding. If you have an Android device, you've all seen it, a little system dialog pops up when the application fails to respond after usually about 5 seconds. And when this is happening, it indicates that the main thread has been unresponsive, really affecting the app's ability to really be leveraged across the different users. And so the very first thing I like to talk about before we get into the poll is really who it's impacting. Developers take a ton of pride in the games that they build. They want to have a seamless experience, and ANRs really disrupt the gameplay. It leads to frustration, they get dissatisfied. Ultimately, it affects player retention. Moreover, we hear that it can create brand reputation issues. So, it tarnishes the studio's reputation, which in the end will impact any future releases from that studio. Why companies generally will talk to us more specifically is the folks that are really focused on P&L, profit and loss of the games. And generally, those are the studio directors. And from their perspective, ANRs results in many different things. It can impact in-app purchases for the more casual games. It can impact ad revenue, the amount of ads being served, because obviously, if you're playing a game and the ad can't be served, that's lost revenue. But the big one and the driver is Google's arbitrary orange line. This is the threshold that either tells you you have good behavior or bad behavior. It's Google's own sort of rule for making sure games have a good experience. And it's really tough when gaming companies start to go over that orange threshold, because it has a direct impact to your rankings, your organic traffic, and it just creates a really frustrating time for user acquisition and just general retention of the game itself. So that's why we're here. That's what we seek to disrupt and help solve for our customers. So let's jump into a quick poll. Where do you suspect your ANRs are coming from? Your own code, various ad SDKs, the Unity code, or do you feel like it's device specific? I'm not sure if we've got everyone answer, but it appears that the majority is equally across, but a few more folks are saying that it's caused by ad SDKs. Walter, if we could go to the next slide. Let's go one more down. The answer is it's probably a little bit of everything. With ANRs, they're very tricky. Very often, it's a combination of different areas. So with ANRs, you really have to pick your battle. It could be your own code, it could be ad SDKs, it could be the Unity layer, but very often it might just be a specific device that's really old that just doesn't perform the way that you want it to. Go ahead, Walter, next slide. So very often when we talk to companies, there's a lot of different places they're gathering their data to really troubleshoot these ANRs. There's the GPC console, which is the primary starting point for ANRs. We have companies looking at, their own Android vitals to see where folks are exiting, or the exit info. There's other companies that use their own internally built tools, and there's also other metadata that can be leveraged to really monitor. But Embrace has seeked to really consolidate a lot of these things and provide a single place to really dig into ANRs and figure out where they are coming from. So with Embrace, we collect every single user session. Within those sessions, we will capture all the networking of third-party libraries. We will capture the Unity layer. We will capture the native code and really provide a holistic view of where the issues are coming from within Embrace. So I will turn it over to Walter to walk you through how we approach ANRs.
Excellent, thank you. PJ, yeah, I think you hear me now. That's all right, thank you. All right, welcome everyone. The idea here is to show you a little bit the techniques like PJ was showing you, the techniques we employ here at Embrace to help you understand ANRs and how to solve them, right? So I will, show you some of the parts. I will show a demo from the dashboard, but first, let me keep showing you this. One of the techniques we use to help you understand and track ANRs is a watchdog mechanism. We monitor your main thread, your Android main thread. Every time your Android main thread is blocked, you have what PJ was explaining, right? If it is blocked for more than 5 seconds and the user interacts with the screen, you will have that message from Google saying the customer, hey, the application is not responding, so if you want to wait longer or kill the application, that's something you don't want to. So we monitor that activity, and that's one of the things we do. But after that, after something like that happens, when the main thread is blocked, we also take snapshots of each and every one of the packages and methods in memory. Packages and memory responsible of that Android main thread being blocked. We count all of that, right? And we put it in this dashboard. And this is the dashboard you will see at Embrace. I think you can see my cursor moving or do PJ, do you know if we see? All right. We count that for the time that you have here, last 7 days, but you can pick any other date and time that you want to investigate main threads being blocked. You can change that from the dashboard. You can also select one or more of your versions from the dashboard. And once you do that, we will get all that together and we will count all those times that the main thread is blocked, and we will tell you how many affected customers you have. We will show that information for your different versions. You can see here with different colors, green, yellow, purple. And as you can see, this is the latest version, and you can see how this curve is going down. So this customer obviously is doing a good use of Embrace, and the ANRs are slowing down on time because they're applying some of the stuff that I will talk about today. And hopefully, if you try Embrace in your own application, you can see this descending trend of ANRs in the application. This is one of the techniques we use. Another thing we can help is by applying what also PJ was mentioning, application exit info API from Google, right? Google released this series of APIs. They use as well to inform you every time you go to the Google Play console to see how your application is reported by ANRs. So every time you go there to the Google Play console, you will see this information from Google, and mostly it's taken from this as well, from this API. So Embrace, it's implementing this for you, so you don't have to do it. And once we have that information, the same information Google reports to you, you will see it in this dashboard. This is a dashboard from Embrace. And as you can see, you have each and every one of the packages creating problems for you. And the same information you see here, or pretty much the same, it should be the one you see in your Google Play console. Because we use...
Out of curiosity, why is it important to show the same exact ANRs that are impacting the rankings in GPC as we do in Embrace? Why, from your experience, why is that important?
Yes, that's a great question, because it's really important in several ways. First, because you have the same information Google provides here at Embrace, or very close information. I would say we use the same techniques, so you will be seeing here at Embrace the same thing you have with Google. That's one of the important things. The second thing is that we also work from other stores. We're not just tied to Google Play. If you have applications running in Amazon, Huawei, or many other more that maybe I'm not aware of, or they're coming in the future, if it is Android, we will put it here. So you don't have to jump from console to console and see all of them. You can see one screen and have all the information. All right. So as I said, you can select any time, any date and time, any version. And once you have that, and we count all of that, all those main threads blocked with all those components, which is an ocean of data, what we do is to put it in a very nice way with priorities that you can follow. In this example, as you see, the first one on the line here is from Unity on pause, right? We're able to detect where this is coming from. As you can see, some is concurrency, meaning too many things at the same time are creating the ANRs. We do this at Embrace. We try to help you where this is coming from. So maybe you don't know some of this. We help you with some labels. This is I/O operation. I have some examples how you can understand and fix also I/O operations that are giving you ANRs. And talking about the first one, the most important one, remember we count all those main threads being blocked. We have all the packages, methods, and we give them a number. 3.8% of your customers are affected, right? And you have more information with Embrace, because we don't just have packages and classes, we have the devices affected when the main thread is blocked. So that's what we also show you like this. In one single screen, you can see how Android 11 here, Android 10, you see the red numbers increasing here in main thread stream blocks. So you can easily see that Galaxy here is the top one from Samsung, of course, and your countries, more affected countries are India and Brazil.
Yeah, and Walter, I think this really highlights the notion of every single session being captured and seeing how prolific an ANR is across your entire user base. Wildlife Studios is one of our larger gaming customers, and they use Embrace to really understand how new games, new versions, new features are impacted by certain device types, and they can quickly in real time see if a device that's low end needs to be, excluded from that version release, or maybe they serve ads differently on different devices based purely on how the application is responding on a new version. And it's really important to have a holistic view of this data across every single user when a new release goes out. And that's just one of the ways that we're very different than the traditional tools out there to capture and present this data.
Definitely. Also, yeah, like PJ was saying, if you need to try this in development on your own, reproduce this, it's exactly the same thing you see with Embrace, you will be able to do it. And not just those numbers, we also build based on all that information we have. We show you already the devices, the percentages of affected users, the packages and methods, but we show you graphically what that represents. So with this, you can see very graphically, it's very easy to see for the eye, right? How gaming here in this example, it's advertising, it's affecting your system. What we do is to build this graphic based on all the frozen frames we see, right, during the capture of main threads being blocked. The gray part here is the Android system. So they will be here. This is the Android system working. But as you can see, the green one is advertising, doing their work and blocking the main thread. All these are frames we capture every time the main thread is blocked. The green one is advertising. So you have an idea, visual idea, very easy to read. What do you have to tackle first? And what components from that, for instance, here we are taking a look at Google Ads, as you can see. And you can, this is very small, but I will show you in next, in a live demo right next after this, what parts of Google Ads are involved in this problem. So it's not just like you have the colors and the packages, but you have some idea of what's involved. You see web views here, initializing, all this, you will see how they behave. But the pattern here is very clear. You can understand that this is your problem. One more thing I would like to mention about this is that we don't just do that for the Java part, because if we have here Unity developers in this group, they will understand that to have some Java information is good, but it's more important to have information coming from C# code, because that's the world you live in, right? So C# is your area. Embrace will help you build this graphic and this information, not just for the JVM, for the Java part, but also for the C code. And that's great, because you can see when the main thread is blocked, you can see what happens on the Unity side as well.
And Walter, how does that typically differ from the way companies use things like Google Play Console or even Firebase to look at that today?
Definitely, it's like to have half of the picture, to be generous. With Embrace, you have the full picture from the beginning of the story to the end, which is the final user playing the game in their Android device, right? Now it's time to share with you some of the session timeline. And this is where the main feature, where you will be spending a lot of time analyzing what's happening. What is a session timeline at Embrace? A session timeline, it's like a session replay where you can see everything your customer is doing with your game or your Android application, right? It's not just something you use to log your information. That's not the idea. The idea is that by only installing the Embrace SDK, you get the logging that you need, right? You as a developer, you don't have to do anything, just install the Embrace SDK. We will take care of the rest, showing you step by step everything the customer was doing. Let me share some examples with you. I have two examples. One is if you are an Android developer using an Android application, can be a Unity application, everything looks the same. This is one session timeline showing all the activity from the customer. But first, allow me to show you that Embrace contains different parts here. You can see Embrace will put all the crashes here. We will make great focus on out-of-memory problems. We have the dedicated session about ANRs I was showing you is here. We help you with networking, your own logging as well, performance, and many more. So Embrace contains a lot of parts you can play with. But we're today talking about this session replay. What we show here, when you want to inspect one single user activity, we show you a lot of information line by line, how the customer is connected. This is important. If you want to reproduce any issue, you need to know how the customer was connected. So we log that for you. All you will see here, it's out of the box. Nothing was made by a developer, right? We do that as Embrace. We know a lot of customers that having really complex logging classes and methods for logging activity, once they have Embrace, they can get rid of all of that and use just Embrace. So they free a lot of code from their application and also responsibility, right? Because if you need to maintain two applications, one for logging your stuff and the other one is the application itself or the game, that's insane. So with Embrace, you don't have to do that. So what we show, how we can help line by line, like if you have a QA person or like a tester telling you all the steps to the problem, how the customer is connected, what activities the customer is going to. These are the views, how long they stay there. And if this activity is doing some network calls, can Embrace log them for me? Yes, we can. It doesn't matter if they are third party or your servers. Optionally, and this is optional because these may contain sensitive information, you can even capture the post body request, right? You can do that. Do you want Embrace to tell you when something is being tapped on screen, any button? We tell you that. If this button is calling another screen, yeah, we tell you that. Fragments, no problem. These fragments are requesting some information to the internet, yes, but take a look at that. They are responding in error. You don't expect errors from third party. This is advertising. You don't expect advertising to return errors. You expect green ones here, right? But yeah, you have some errors. What's the result of that? It's the result of your code getting an error. So you may not be the developer of this application, but what I'm showing you here, you can easily understand where to go because everything starts here. What to fix, right? Understand that this is an error and prevent this in the future.
Walter, how much of this needs to be set up by, instrumentation versus what comes out of the box?
The good thing is everything is out of the box. Everything is out of the box. Everything I'm showing you here, it's out of the box. But if you want to send your own login, we provide some tools you can use. We call them breadcrumbs, or you will see them as logs as well. But the rest, it's out of the box by Embrace. How this helps in ANRs? Well, let's move on to this next example I have and take a look at this. Every time we see the main thread being blocked in an Android device, we will log this for you. We will tell you, hey, right now, the application is all frozen. For how long? Look, 11 seconds. That's a lot. Remember that after 5 minutes, customers will try to tap, and if they tap, they will see the message from Google if you want to kill or not the application. But we don't stop there. Embrace won't stop there. Remember, I told you we take snapshots of everything in memory, and this is the result. You can see what was happening in these 11 seconds. You can see that the web view ready to show advertising was initializing here, right? All operations with web views. So in these 11 seconds for this device, we are taking a look at everything that happened, and Embrace was able to monitor for you. Unity apps is downloading the configuration they need. Then they are preparing the web view to show you the advertising, all in 11 seconds. You can see the times here when this finished. It's a lot of time. You may say, Walter, help me understand. was the customer able to see the advertising, or they killed the application before that? We're not 100% interactive here in this conversation, but I guess you already know what happened, because look, Embrace was able to log for you the web view where this was shown, right? Where the advertising is displayed. You may say, all right, Walter, so no one killed anything. The user decided to wait for 11 seconds. Here is the advertising, all good. How long the customer was playing the advertising? Almost 2 minutes. We even tell you that. It's great detailed information every developer should have to understand what's happening with their games. You may say, all right, Walter, how can I fix this? I understand the problem. Unity takes 11 seconds for this device to do all this until I see the web view. Help me understand how can I fix this? All right, take a look at what I told you, the breadcrumbs you're sending. This customer is a game and they are rewarding the user. You know, if you're a game developer, when customers want something like medals or gold or whatever, you ask them, hey, do you want to see a video? I give you that. I give you the money, the gold, whatever it's necessary, the reward. And this is what's happening here. You're rewarding a user with the video. So you put all this together, and some stuff you need to do to fix this or improve it is, first, unload some resources before showing this. So you ease the memory and you free the activity from the device before rewarding. You need to do that. Second thing you can do is move this rewarding piece to another part, right? Maybe here is not the best place to show the reward. Or third, I can think of right now, not being the developer for this game, is maybe wait a little bit longer until all the resources are unloaded and then show the reward. Those are just ideas coming from me, random ideas, but I guess understanding this, you will take the best decision. So finally, with all this information, what I have to say is read the session timeline and understand the problem. But pay attention, because it's not only with advertising how Embrace will help you. Outside advertising, we can help you as well. And this is the last example I have. Look at this as an example of input-output operation, right? Here, the ANR, the main thread being block, took 9 seconds right at the beginning of the game. So you have an idea where this is happening. You're not lost, you're not blind. Main thread being blocked, 9 seconds, and it's all input-output operation. So you as a developer will want to do this later or in a separate thread, move this to another place. That's your decision. We give you the context, you take the decision. And that's it. Basically, this is your work with Embrace. Read the session timeline, apply fixes based on metrics and the information you see in the session timeline, upload the new version, and go back to number 1 to monitor the session timeline again.
Awesome, Walter. Can you go to the next one and we can wrap up today? Well, that's the webinar. We hope you got a sense of the amount of data that we collect to help developers continue to build awesome games while reducing the ANRs that they experience, as all games do. By the way, here are just a couple of our customers that work with us on a daily basis to help solve their ANRs. So if you are experiencing anything like that, we'd love to speak with you, and we're happy to chat anytime.